Sister asks for prayers amid the singer's recent health struggles.
The night feels heavy with silence, and one sister can't find peace. I was up all night praying for my sister, Dolly, Freida says with a trembling heart. Many of you know she hasn't been feeling her best lately. I truly believe in the power of prayer, and I've been led to ask the whole world that loves her to pray with me. As those words echo across the hearts of fans everywhere, the message becomes clear: this isn't just another story about a country legend. It's about love, faith, and the strength that carries even the brightest stars through their darkest nights. The quiet of the Tennessee night was broken only by the sound of prayers. Freida Parton sat awake, her heart heavy, her thoughts consumed by worry for her sister, the woman the world knows as Dolly Parton. To millions, Dolly is a legend, a symbol of country music, joy, and resilience. But to Freida, she is simply her big sister, someone she's loved and admired all her life. That night, she couldn't sleep. Every passing hour seemed slower than the last, each minute filled with whispers of hope and the soft murmur of prayer. Freida's words, posted on Facebook, were simple but powerful. Last night, I was up all night praying for my sister, Dolly. Many of you know she hasn't been feeling her best lately. Those words carried across the internet like a wave, drawing thousands of responses from fans and friends alike. People who had never met Dolly felt a personal connection to her through her music, her kindness, and her unshakable positivity. And now, hearing that she was struggling, they felt called to return the love she had given for decades through prayers, thoughts, and well wishes. Freida's message didn't come out of nowhere. It followed weeks of concern among fans after Dolly postponed her planned Las Vegas concerts. For someone as dedicated and disciplined as Dolly, postponing a show isn't something she takes lightly. She's known for performing through exhaustion, through heartbreak, even through illness. But this time, she chose to listen to her doctors. On September 28th, she posted on Instagram that she needed to undergo a few procedures, clarifying with her trademark humor that it wasn't her usual trip to see the plastic surgeon. Even in moments of vulnerability, Dolly found a way to make people smile. Still, beneath the humor, there was concern. The message revealed that she would be unable to rehearse and put together the kind of show she wanted her fans to see. She spoke with honesty and humility, saying, "You pay good money to see me perform, and I want to be at my best for you." That simple statement reflected a lifetime of dedication to her fans, her craft, and her reputation. Dolly Parton has always been more than just a performer. She's a storyteller, a giver, a symbol of perseverance. But behind all that light, there are moments of quiet struggle that few ever see. In Nashville, where Dolly spends much of her time, those close to her say she's been focused on recovery and rest. Friends describe her as strong-willed and spiritually grounded, two traits that have carried her through many challenges over the years. This time, her health has taken center stage, and though the details remain private, her decision to postpone her performances speaks volumes. She has always said that her audience deserves her best, and she intends to give them nothing less. Freida's post reminded the world that even legends need care, support, and faith. "I truly believe in the power of prayer," Freida wrote, "and I have been led to ask all of the world that loves her to be prayer warriors and pray with me." That plea touched people deeply. Social media was soon flooded with messages: "Praying for you, Dolly, you've given us so much joy, now it's our turn to lift you up," and sending healing energy from all over the world. For a moment, it didn't matter where anyone came from or who they were united by love for one woman whose voice had carried them through their own storms. For nearly 6 decades, Dolly has been a fixture of the American music scene. Her songs aren't just melodies, they're memories. From Jolene to Coat of Many Colors, her lyrics have always come from a place of truth and emotion. And those who've followed her career know that she's faced her share of hardships: poverty, rejection, criticism, and the heavy toll of fame. Yet she's always met those moments with grace and humor. That's why this health scare feels so personal for so many, because Dolly has always made her fans feel like family. When the news broke that she had recently suffered from a kidney stone, fans worried that her current condition might be related. The 79-year-old legend has rarely taken extended breaks from performing, and her decision to push her concert dates from December 2025 to September 2026 was a clear sign that she intended to take the time she truly needed. In a world where celebrities often hide their vulnerabilities, Dolly's openness about needing rest felt refreshingly real. She wasn't hiding, she was healing. Behind the scenes, sources close to Dolly have described her as optimistic. She continues to work on her creative projects from home in Nashville, writing, recording ideas, and keeping in touch with her team. Those who know her well say she hasn't lost her spark or her humor. She's still cracking jokes, still humming songs while she makes coffee, one friend said. But she knows this is her body telling her to slow down. For someone who has spent her entire life on the move, learning to pause isn't easy. But Dolly has always listened to her instincts, and now, they're telling her to rest. Freida, meanwhile, has become a voice for hope. Her post wasn't about fear, it was about faith. In her message, she reminded everyone that Dolly is strong, loved, and surrounded by prayers. With all the prayers being lifted for her, she said, "I know in my heart she's going to be just fine." That sentence carried both confidence and comfort, the kind that comes only from someone who truly believes in the power of divine healing. As the story spread, fans began revisiting Dolly's past interviews, moments where she spoke about her faith, her family, and her belief in miracles. She has always credited her upbringing in the Smoky Mountains for grounding her. "We were poor, but we had love and faith," she once said. "That's what got us through everything." Those words feel even more meaningful now, as her family and fans join together in prayer for her recovery. In times like these, people are reminded that even icons are human, that behind the rhinestones and the fame, there's a heart that beats, a body that tires, and a soul that sometimes needs mending. Dolly's story is more than just another celebrity health update. It's a reminder of resilience, of sisterhood, and of the healing power of love and prayer. Freida's simple act of asking for help became a moment of unity that stretched far beyond Tennessee. And as fans light candles, whisper prayers, and send messages of love, one truth remains constant: Dolly Parton has given the world decades of laughter, music, and hope. Now, it's the world's turn to give some of that back through kindness, patience, and belief that she'll soon be back, stronger than ever, standing beneath the stage lights that have always felt like home. The news of Dolly Parton's health struggles didn't just echo through headlines, it stirred something deeper in the hearts of her fans. Around the world, people began to share stories of how her music had carried them through heartbreak, inspired them to dream bigger, or helped them believe in themselves again. It wasn't just about sympathy, it was about gratitude. Dolly has always had that rare gift, the ability to touch souls through her words, her laughter, and her unwavering authenticity. In Nashville, the Parton family has always been known for its closeness. Growing up in a one-room cabin in Sevier County, Dolly and her 11 siblings learned the meaning of love and perseverance from an early age. They didn't have much, but what they did have was each other. Their mother, Ovie Lee, filled their home with songs and faith, and their father, Robert Lee, taught them the value of hard work. That foundation shaped Dolly's character, humble, grateful, and full of heart. So when her sister Freida took to social media to ask the world for prayers, it wasn't just an act of desperation. It was a reflection of everything their family stands for: faith, unity, and love that doesn't waver, even in hard times. Freida, the younger sister who once sang alongside Dolly before stepping back from the spotlight, has always been a quiet supporter. Her bond with Dolly runs deep. Over the years, she's watched her sister conquer stages, build businesses, and create a legacy that transcends music. But beyond the fame and success, Freida has always seen the simple, genuine woman who still prays before bed and still laughs the loudest at her own jokes. That's the Dolly she stayed up praying for, not the superstar, but the sister who always reminded her to keep believing. As fans began to pray and post messages of support, Dolly's team remained optimistic. Though she hasn't shared details about the procedures she's undergoing, sources close to her assure fans that she's receiving excellent care and surrounded by loved ones. For someone as full of life as Dolly, slowing down isn't natural, but she's taking it one day at a time. Friends say she spends her mornings reading messages from fans, smiling at their words of love, and often responding privately to those who share their own stories of faith and healing. She knows what her music means to people, and she feels that same love returning to her in this moment of vulnerability. Behind the glittering public image, Dolly has always been deeply spiritual. Her faith isn't loud or showy, It's personal, steady, and humble. In past interviews, she's talked about how she's never taken credit for her success alone. "Everything I've ever done, I've asked God to be part of it," she once said. "And I believe He's guided me every step of the way." That faith has carried her through losses, criticism, and exhaustion, and now, it's carrying her through recovery. Those close to her say she often prays with her family, listens to gospel music, and spends time reflecting on gratitude rather than fear. Fans may not realize just how much Dolly has always put her health second to her passion. She's known to work long hours in the studio, travel relentlessly, and give her all during performances, rarely stopping to rest. Even in her late 70s, she was still writing, producing, and planning new shows. But age and experience have a way of reminding even the strongest among us that self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary. Her decision to postpone her Vegas shows wasn't a sign of weakness, it was an act of wisdom. By taking time now, she's ensuring that when she returns to the stage, she'll be the Dolly her fans know and love, full of sparkle, humor, and heart. In the meantime, her family has stepped forward to keep her spirits high. Nieces, nephews, and siblings have been visiting her home, bringing laughter, food, and stories that remind her of simpler days. Freida especially has become her constant companion, checking in daily and updating friends and fans with small notes of hope. She recently shared, "Dolly is resting and in good hands. She's still her funny self, making us laugh even when she doesn't feel her best." Those words reassured fans and painted a picture of Dolly's unbreakable spirit. Even in recovery, she's spreading joy. What makes Dolly so beloved isn't just her music, it's the way she's lived her life. She's always stood for kindness and generosity. Over the years, she's donated millions to causes she believes in, from education to healthcare, from children's literacy to disaster relief. Her imagination library, which provides free books to children across the globe, is one of her proudest achievements. That same heart that built an empire of giving is now receiving love in return from those she's touched. It's as if the universe is paying back all the kindness she's poured into it. As days pass, fans continue to organize prayer groups online. Churches in Tennessee and beyond have mentioned Dolly in their services. Candlelight vigils have even been held in her honor, where people sing her songs softly, blending music with prayer. It's something rare, a true communal moment of love and support that goes beyond celebrity. Because to so many people, Dolly isn't just a singer. She's a symbol of what it means to be kind, hardworking, and unapologetically yourself. Even as she takes time to heal, Dolly hasn't stopped dreaming. Her close friends say she's already thinking ahead, new songs, future shows, and creative projects waiting for the right moment to bloom. That's who she's always been. Someone who finds purpose in every pause, light in every shadow. She once said, "If you see someone without a smile, give them yours." Now, it's her fans returning that smile to her through prayers, art, and messages that fill her heart with strength. Freida's message continues to circulate, a reminder that family is the foundation of everything. Fame fades, but love remains. And for the Parton family, that love has been their compass since childhood. The bond between Dolly and Freida isn't just one of blood, it's a lifelong friendship built on faith, music, and the belief that no matter what happens, they'll face it together. Freida's prayers, and the prayers of millions, have become a chorus of hope rising across the world. As the world watches and waits, there's a shared understanding that this moment, though uncertain, is part of Dolly's story. The story of a woman who's given so much of herself that even when she's quiet, her presence is felt everywhere. She's not just recovering, she's reminding everyone what strength, humility, and grace look like. And when she steps back into the spotlight, it won't just be a return. It'll be a celebration of resilience, of sisterhood, and of a life lived with open arms and an open heart. In the days following Freida Parton's heartfelt plea, the world seemed to pause. Fans from every corner of the globe came together in a shared moment of compassion. Social media platforms overflowed with messages, prayers, and memories. People who had never met Dolly wrote as if they were speaking to an old friend. "You were the soundtrack to my childhood," one person wrote. "You taught me to be strong when life got hard." Another message read, "Your songs helped me survive heartbreak, now it's our turn to lift you up." This collective outpouring of love was unlike anything seen in recent memory. It wasn't just about celebrity admiration, it was something deeper. Dolly's legacy has always been built on connection. Her songs reach across generations, cultures, and beliefs, reminding people that kindness and honesty never go out of style. The unity seen during this difficult time reflected that same message, that even in a divided world, love can bring people together. As the story grew, media outlets began sharing updates about Dolly's health and her decision to take a step back. The tone of these reports was filled with respect, something not always common in celebrity news. Journalists who had covered Dolly for years spoke warmly of her grace and generosity. One writer recalled an interview where she said, "I'm not afraid of slowing down. I just want to make sure that when I do, I'm doing it on my own terms." That statement, made years ago, suddenly felt prophetic. Meanwhile, in Nashville, Dolly's home became a place of quiet support. Her closest circle, family, lifelong friends, and a few trusted colleagues surrounded her with care. The sound of music still filled her house, even if it wasn't from a stage. She would hum a few bars of an unfinished melody while sipping tea or jot down lyrics on the back of a napkin, just as she always had. Creativity, for Dolly, is like breathing. Even when her body needs rest, her soul continues to create. Those close to her say that despite everything, her sense of humor hasn't faded. She still jokes about herself, about aging, about life's unpredictability. "If I can't laugh at it, it's not worth worrying about," she reportedly told a friend recently. That light-hearted wisdom is part of what has always made her so beloved, her ability to find laughter in the middle of hardship. It's how she's survived in an industry that often tries to take itself too seriously. Dolly, with her glitter and grit, has always known that joy is a choice. Fans find comfort in knowing that Dolly's optimism is intact. She's often said that she doesn't see problems, only challenges waiting to be turned into songs. Over the years, that mindset has helped her overcome countless obstacles. From her early struggles as a young girl trying to make it in Nashville, to public scrutiny and personal losses, she's faced it all with resilience and grace. And even now, in this quieter chapter, she's proving once again that strength isn't just about power, it's about faith, patience, and trust in the journey. Freida continues to be a pillar of hope. Her updates are gentle reminders that love and prayer are still powerful forces. When she posted that Dolly was in good hands and smiling through it, fans around the world breathed a collective sigh of relief. It wasn't confirmation of a miracle or a recovery, it was something better. It was reassurance that Dolly's spirit remains unbroken. Churches across Tennessee have continued to include Dolly in their weekly prayers. Local radio stations have dedicated segments to her music, inviting listeners to call in and share stories about what she means to them. One woman spoke about how Dolly's lyrics helped her forgive her mother. A truck driver called in from the road, saying he plays her songs every night to remind him of home. Every story, no matter how small, carried a piece of her legacy, one built on compassion, empathy, and love. Even younger generations, who might know Dolly more from her philanthropy or social media presence than her earliest albums, have joined in. They share clips of her performances, interviews, and inspiring quotes. They talk about her imagination library, her donations to medical research, and her message of acceptance and positivity. For many, Dolly has become more than a country singer. She's a cultural icon, a bridge between eras. And now, seeing her in a moment of vulnerability only deepens that admiration. Inside her Nashville home, Dolly remains focused on recovery. Friends say she spends time in her garden, surrounded by flowers, her favorite place to reflect. She's always found peace in nature, often calling it God's best art. Even during this period of rest, she continues to write little notes of gratitude, something she's done for years. She thanks her doctors, her fans, and even strangers who've sent letters of encouragement. Her assistant once said that Dolly insists on reading every single message that arrives. She doesn't just glance at them, she truly takes them to heart. There's something timeless about the way Dolly approaches life. She has always believed that hardship can lead to healing if you approach it with faith. "You can't have rainbows without rain," she famously said, and now, those words ring louder than ever. Her current journey is proof that even the strongest people need time to heal, and there's no shame in stepping back to do so. It's the same lesson she's been teaching the world through her songs, that vulnerability is not weakness, but strength in its purest form. Fans continue to wait patiently for her return, not because they demand it, but because they believe in her. They trust that when she's ready, she'll come back with the same sparkle, the same laughter, and maybe a few new songs inspired by this chapter. Dolly has always said that everything she goes through ends up in her music, and it's easy to imagine that somewhere in her notebooks, lyrics about faith, family, and recovery are already taking shape. Freida's role in all of this has shown just how deep the bond between sisters can be. She's not only been Dolly's comfort but also the messenger of hope for millions. Her decision to speak publicly reminded fans that behind the glitz of fame, there's a real family with real emotions. And in a world often obsessed with gossip and speculation, Freida's honesty was a breath of sincerity, one that brought everyone closer to the truth of who Dolly really is. As time moves on, the prayers haven't stopped. Each day adds a new voice to the chorus of support. The world continues to hold its breath, waiting not in fear, but in faith. Because if there's one thing everyone knows about Dolly Parton, it's that she doesn't give up. Her story has always been about turning pain into purpose, challenges into songs, and tears into laughter. And even now, as she rests away from the stage, that story continues, a living reminder that grace shines brightest in moments of quiet strength. The sun rises over the Smoky Mountains, casting a golden glow that seems to mirror the warmth Dolly Parton has brought to the world for decades. After weeks of rest, reflection, and care, she is slowly regaining her strength. Her home in Nashville, once quiet and filled with whispered prayers, now resonates with laughter, music, and the hum of creativity. The pause, though challenging, has reminded everyone, including Dolly herself, of the power of love.